Perhaps now the cherry to the cake is coming from the Suzy. I don't know. I push with open heart, Charlie.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome, Suzy.
You mean Suzy with the deep voice?
Yeah, Suzy with the 5 o'clock shadow.
She is a knowledge seeker, only to learn.
Just observing, correct.
Good evening. Well, good afternoon. I'm still a knowledge seeker, and I sit here and watch and listen. It's very nice the way I just joined in the last few minutes. The strongest feeder was discussed was to be the physicality. The strongest feeder always stays the creator. Either way, if you look at it from the physical side or from the soul side, because at the end, they all get fed by him, even the soul of the man. And the soul of physicality does not exist if it wasn't because of the soul of the creator. In essence, the center, the creator of the soul of creator, and the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man is the same, is of the same strength. And this is one of the strangest things that we see, and we don't want to accept, because it's at this moment of time is beyond our understanding. So when we talk about which one is the stronger, none is, because they all get fed from the source, even the soul of physicality. And the only difference is at what strength we pull from this source, and in what strength we believe in understanding of it, and how we became to believe in this path of belief. I was explaining to one of the knowledge seekers that the strength of the knowledge, what we have as a creator, comes from Mitra. And tonight in the Iranian culture, we celebrate the birth of Mitra. Tonight is the longest night of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, and is known as the birthday of Mitra, where we start all believing in creator, understanding the creator, without believing in statues and figures and whatever. And if you go back into the ethos of understanding how we became to realize that there is something more powerful than us, something if we are created out of, then we realize in the word of, and what I call in the ethos of Mitra, we all came to understand we are all from the same essence, even the creator. And we say that in the center of the plasma there is the strongest, but that the strongest is common denominator between the atom, the proton, the neutron, the soul of the creator, and the rest of the creation. And the same, whenever we look at understanding the power and the soul of the creator, we have to understand how we are made of it. We are, in essence, the source of it. The essence of the creator is within the center of every created plasma energy. Otherwise, we cannot exist. So when we come to speak who is the strongest and who fits what, we have to understand which one of us takes out what the strength from it, not in how we exist or we become the feeder of it. As I was explaining to one of the knowledge seekers, we need, if you understand, to go further, we need to connect the soul of the man to the soul of the physicality without the interaction or the emotion of the physicality, which is existence of the brain of the man. In a way, the soul of the man continuously feeds the soul of physicality to keep the soul of physicality in existence. And is a stronger, and by feeding it in a way that it guarantees its existence. So what we see as the creation of the brain of the man, or a space gap, what we call transition time of the field forces, is what we take from the interaction of the fields from the strongest. In a way, if we go back like in Corona, as I've explained to the scientists very recently in a medical teaching in Iran, to the leading scientists in the university, what we see as a corona, shape of the corona, is the interaction of the field of the virus with the field of the cell of the man, or the what we call amino acid. If that amino acid wasn't there, the virus cannot show itself. It's like when the fields of the earth and the sun hit each other. It's not just the light, the mountains, everything else is decided by the shape and the form of it. And this is more or less the same. So when we speak about feeding what feeds what, in essence, we all get fed from the source. But we decide what the strength from that source we take. The soul of physicality takes the center of the matter, a state of the plasma, in conformation of his existence. The soul of the man takes the strength that guarantees his existence within the structure of the universe. We, if you look at it, our what we call body is the shape of that corona, what we see as a cell. In fact, all the rest is this what we call the factor outcome. We see the protein, which is the soul of the man. We see the soul of the physicality, which is the virus. And the interaction of the two gives us the shape of the man. Always with 2 legs, 2 arms, and if the effects are good enough, you still get 4 or 5 fingers in one hand and 5 toes and the rest of it. And this is what we got to extend our understanding of the knowledge of the creation. Then we mature. As long as we stick to what feeds and who feeds what, with our understanding, we are actually a transformer of that energy. We manifest our existence in respect to interaction of the field. Then this, which package is stronger than the other, has become totally irrelevant. And this is what we're trying to push in the teachings, to show that every cell, every energy, every pack is equal. It's just that what that pack, in respect to the field of the creator, manifests itself in representation of. Then the whole structure of the plasma, understanding of the technology of the creation becomes easy. And this is the ultimate goal of all the teachings. do not split and say what is what. Split and see what the fields from the creator in reaction or interaction with the field of the soul of physicality allows the soul of physicality to manifest from the balance of the creation. And then in that respect, what does soul do? And with the soul of the man and the soul of physicality, interaction with the soul of the creator, what creates? Because within the structure of every plasma, every atom, every proton, electron is the soul of the creator. In essence, we show our manifestation in respect to its existence at all times. In reference to, we say we only see red color on an object is what that object does reject and doesn't absorb. So is the manifestation of the creation of the every soul. Whatever manifests is what is in respect to the soul of the creator is reacted to and interacted with. Then we understand the condition of the creation of neutron, why it always stays the same. In teachings, in understanding, is the soul to understand. And in a way, with what we see should not fool us. What we, in essence, we feel in the soul level will bring us the knowledge, the enlightenment. Many of you are in a dilemma. You work, you talk, you see. You want to see your soul, but you cannot because you have not understood the totality of your own creation. You only can see when your knowledge reaches the point of understanding what the soul is and how the soul lives and accepts is what I call the outcome. As long as we analyze in the dimension of the physical life, we're always in trouble. None of you will be ever able to see your soul. It's an impossibility because you are within it, it's within you. And those who want to see their souls, claim to see, to be, we know exactly where they stand. If you listen to many times, I always say, people tell me what they see as a soul, not me. Because you are within, how can you see outside? And we don't have a mirror for the souls to reflect, to show. The same way as we see the body of the man in the physical dimension. The only mirror for us is when we come in touch with another soul and what we reflect in that mirror. The man who expects to see his soul is a foolish man. The man who understands the interaction of his soul with other souls is the man who has reached the wisdom of the creation. In this world of souls, we do not have mirrors for us to look into and see ourselves back. And this is what they say when you see the universal member, you see them from the light of their souls in interaction with us, not with the others.
Mr. Keshe, you said that the color of the souls is the same in all. What differentiates the 7 billion souls on this planet? How do they?
Can you repeat that?
How do the 7 billion souls on this planet maintain their uniqueness?
It is not the 7 billion because you're still looking at what I call short end of the stick. 7 billion, 100,000 have died since this morning. And 100,000 has been created more. Is a transition. It's just a count of numbers. What about the whale? What about the dog and the ants? What about the soul of the trees? How many trees have burnt out and died and uprooted today? How many vegetables have you eaten since this morning? Did you cut a rose in the garden? Or did you take a rose from its totality? This is what we see in the essence of creation. And then you travel the depth of the universe. How many souls have been born today in other dimensions and dominions?
But in the universe, you would recognize the soul not by their physicality, but by their
By the lights. You see, if you, I explained this many times, if you look with the eye of the man, you just see what is visible to you. If you put a night vision on, you see more animals you never see during the day. And then the same is if you put the, what I call the universal vision, then you see the soul. It's what you want to see, what you open your eyes to see, what facility do you make to your inner soul for it to see what exists. This is part of this understanding which goes with the life and creation. And this is why we start teaching in the past 2-3 weeks in this direction. You have the choice. We give the man the choice to travel with a donkey to the UFO or to his soul. This is the beauty of the new, what I call cycle. That is not there, that if you are good, you reach it, if you are bad, you miss it. It's there that is opportunity is open to everyone. It's you who decides from now on how to travel the spans of the universe and universe. The choice now is with the man. The choice now is with the created things they decide. How many of you in your time have said, when I come back next time, I want to be a dog or a cat? You can do that now if you understood the knowledge for the transformation of the soul and the mission of the existence. You don't need to stay in the physical dimension of the man anymore. We still strive to do it for those who live in the dimension of physicality, because in the dimension of physicality, you have to keep busy. You have to do something for the physicality to exist, to mature, to expand. In the dimension of the soul, you carry all the knowledge. You can tap into the knowledge of the universe and bring it back and change it into the physicality. Then you become a magician. And the only way you reach this point is to fall in love. Then you understand. Which means you give unconditionally, that you receive what you're short of, not what you already have.
Mr. Keshe,
Yes.
can we agree to disagree?
You cannot disagree with the creator. You can disagree as much as you like.
But in our language, is that something that we should practice?
What do you mean?
Well, you say there's no books and libraries in the universe. There's no laws per se. So if we agree to disagree in language, don't we respect each other's language and try to find a emotional equilibrium between agreeing and disagreeing, in a way of putting it?
You take a magnet from mixture of any metals. You'll find out they all react the same in a space gap. They all react to accommodate. There is no language in that sense. So it's the same with the man, or same with the soul of the man, or all the creation. There is no language. It's understanding to accommodate according to the field list. If you put a magnet of pure iron and another one with a mixture of others and pure others, you'll find out when you place it in respect to each other, they all accommodate each other according to the string. But there is no language barrier for them. How could it be for the man or any other soul? This is what we try to teach. This is what we try to expand the knowledge to.
And with your example of the magnet, both of the polarities, between the two polarities, there exists an equilibrium, a space gap.
Yes, but the only thing is what you're not a magnet till you put in an environment which are other magnets and you see how they're reacting in respect to you and how you react respect to them in distance, gap, and position. And maybe due to multitude of fields which you enter, create motion for you. Or you create motion in them. But in essence, you come to one conclusion. Do magnets have languages? But how do they understand each other and accommodate each other? So shall be the soul of the man, the soul of the creation. All created things accommodate each other that way. Some further distance move a little, some closer move more. We don't have languages, and the soul is a dynamic plasma. It's a dynamic magnetic field. So it does the same. That's why we say in the universe there is no language unless you transfer it into physical dimension. Then you have to find a way to communicate, like a man creates the voice on the pen and the paper. If you go back some years ago, after the passing of Fabio, we showed what we call the sign language for those who understand it. Those who've been around me, they know in certain ways how I communicate with spaceships in space, in a formation of language. We follow the rules. We don't carry the essence. In a way, the way it's done is the sign language to the space, deeper space, is not the way you look at it, you understand it. The soul of the man becomes the beacon, becomes the light. The movement of what we call physical soul in a given position become the transmitter of that signal, what to be. People who've been around me, they have seen me calling upon spaceships, and I get response very rapidly, where my soul is the beacon. I transfer my needs, what I want and what I expect, and what I expect from them to respond. Those who've been close to me, they've seen it many times. Many of what you see as lights in the sky, and it's become this and that, these are just spaceships. our system don't even pick up. And there is a way to communicate.
Well, the reason I kind of put it in that context is it seems that things come in threes, the three layers of the skin, and the conditions of the plasma, the intermediary, and the
If
matter
you
state.
want physicality, it comes in threes. If you don't want physicality, you don't. When the three layers come in, is the interaction of the two. The third one is the atmospheric condition you're in, that the skin of the man becomes manifestation of his presentation. The skin of the man, you have the inner layer, you have a middle layer, and the top layer. The top layer is the interaction of the two inside with the balanced interaction of the field of the universe, or what we call the environment they live in. That decides the color of your skin, the color of your eye, and the rest of it. When you
Well, I wasn't trying to be specific of the
very specific. That's
but
how
I
you understand.
well, I mean, because we've gone all over all those before, and it's just that it seems like instead of working backwards, we continue to work forwards and make it more complex. And that's why I was saying, like, when you look at the yin and the yang, between the two, there's a intermediary between the two. It always seems that there's
the intermediary comes from the interaction of the two. It's not there on its own. The intermediary is the creation of the interaction of the yin and yang. We taught this in Chinese teaching some 2-3 years back.
And so if we look at the diagram that's on the screen, it's all about the totality of the green circle, not what's necessarily inside of it, to simplify it.
You see, the interaction of the tree, for example, greens, what you see inside, is the fields, packages of the fields which are in the center of these circles, with what we call the circle. Or is the circle the environment which encircles the whole three, and they have each one according to their strength show their reaction or their interaction with it, and in that person or in that position, in totality of reactions with each other. There is a massive misunderstanding in knowledge seekers about the knowledge of the creation. Massive misunderstanding. And that misunderstanding is that the green line around is always with us, is the field of the creator.
Could you say it's the blank canvas, actually, the white, the canvas, right?
No.
The totality is the canvas as opposed to
the totality, yes, maybe you call it the canvas, but a canvas in 3 dimensions and in many dimensions, not just 3. When I was working in nuclear industry, we work into 7, 8, and 9 dimension integration, where every variable can play into it. In the normal mathematics or physics, you consider maybe 1 or 2. But when we became to analyze even in the 9th and 10th, then the question came, what about the interaction between 1 and 9, which become part of the integration? What about the integration of 2 and 4 and the 9, which we all created? It becomes ever what they call expanding into fields and interaction of the interactions. The same as the interaction of the 2 fields creates the mass, and the third one, the interaction creates the weight. What about when the weight interacts? with a mass? What about when the weight interacts with gravity or magnetic? Man has never gone into that strength. When we look at a nuclear reactor, we don't look at just material there. We look at the heat transfer, we look at the time, we look at the expansion of the nuclear decay, and then it adds and adds and adds. This is one of the reasons I can see, or in totality, because in a human sense, I've been brought up to look at the totality of all dimensions. Nuclear physicists are beyond those who go not into theoretical but advanced practical nuclear reactors technology. We are beyond understanding of the present mathematicians, because we consider things that even the present mathematics cannot consider. And that behavior comes into understanding of totality of the creation. That's why when I teach a totality. Maybe, as I said before, one of the reasons I had to become a nuclear physicist was to have this vision, to be given this vision in the dimension of the man. As I explained, I was in a meeting with leading scientists yesterday for about a couple of hours. And I explained to them very simply, as a nuclear physicist in design of the nuclear reactors, we are taught from the Earth, the composition of the Earth, the magnetic field of the Earth, to nuclear materials, to heat transfer, to understanding of interaction with the fields of the environment. We have to understand from zero to what we call total combination. They don't train nuclear physicists like me anymore. It costs too much and we're not building nuclear reactors anymore. I was told in mid to early 2000, there were 5 of us left in the world and 2 have died. And I'm one of the youngest. The real nuclear physicists who could understand the totality, not much left. They don't teach anymore because we stopped building in nuclear reactors. Now it's a specialty in thermodynamics or in plasma physics or whatever. And when you're brought up in that kind of school of thought, you look at everything and not just one field and one plasma or maybe 2 or 3 plasmas. And this is how it's very hard for many of you, especially if you don't come from the scientific background, to understand these things. We look at the fields in totality of the operation, in where it comes from, in every direction, the essence of the field. This is one of the biggest problems, and I've been told I need to explain more. But to me, when I teach, in a way, from the background I come, I'll understand that everybody knows more or less more of what I know, but I understand people don't. And trying to make nuclear physicists in full design in a few weeks or a few years is an impossibility, unless you have the love of it to understand it yourself.
One more thing. If we want to replicate the ability to not breathe on this planet or any planet, where we create our own condition that feeds that needs to be fed, what should we be looking at? Where we don't want to I mean, I know you've already talked about it, about how we consume, and getting to that point where we're so peaceful that we don't consume even the need to breathe. What?
Why? Let me ask
Yeah.
you one question. What does breathing mean to you? What does the process of breathing is to you? The process of breathing is what? Taking air in? and converting some of his energy to become the energy that your physicality can take toward the transformation of the information of your physical soul to the soul of physicality.
Well, we
That's
talked
all
about,
you're reading.
we talked about, didn't we talk about the taking of souls and consuming even oxygen is the taking of souls?
Yes, but you have to realize, why do we do this? We eat to create a condition of what? We breathe to create condition of what? What is the purpose of it? What fields do each provide to our soul of physicality and our soul that allows us to exist? So can we take the energy at that level, at that strength, and do with breathing? We can't breathe in the depth of the space. There is no oxygen. We have to educate ourselves so fast that we have to get access to the energy which guarantees the survival of our soul. Nothing else. Nothing else. And this is the dilemma for man. The bottom line is to find the energy level which the soul of the man needs to survive in every level dimension in the universe. And it's your responsibility to find that for your soul. Then you become detached from the time, position, and the space and the place. I was explaining to one of the knowledge seekers very recently, said, what is, if there is not supposed to be time and space? I said, there is no time and space because you create, you are the creator of it. It's not before you and it's not after you. The rest is history, which means how the others used and created their time and space. This is why in my teaching I said there is no time and there is no space, because you are the creator of it at the point of creation. You say, I'm a doctor from today because I was said, okay, that title starts from today. Was not there before and will not be after. You become. It's like loving. You fall in love or you become a lover. Which way do you want to go? You want to give irrespective of physicality, or are you there just to receive and call it to love because you receive more than what you give, but you call yourself a lover? You got to realize, I've said it many times in the teaching, which way you want to live the life in the dimensions of the creation. In the physical matter, in the matter of no physicality but the existence of the soul, or in a combination of the two that irrespective of time and space and place, I exist in the dimension of physicality. So I change accordingly. This is going to be a dilemma for many, many knowledge seekers and many, many scientists and those who call themselves theologists.
Well, without making a joke about it, do we need a sixth cup?
You need 3 more. You have not reached the level of the creation of the soul of the Creator. And then, even when you get there, you need the final one, the 9. But is mankind ready to learn about the other four? We've seen the mayhem created only by five. If you look at the structure of your five and look at the structure of the books are written, where does the inertia come? It's the creation of the what we call solar system, confirmation of reality, what we call existence of the field. There is a book number 5. And coincidentally, past a week or two, I found the keys, what they call USB sticks, which book 4, 5, and 6 are written in. Would we release it? Would it be understood by many?
Challenge us. Do it.
It's been done. Releasing it, would it bring the knowledge to the man? You got to understand, as we knew the pressures are going to increase by the Belgian government on us, that we were about to go on exile, we could see it. I went back to Dirk Lorenz and I said, I want the book number 4 back, because he was reading it to do the illustration. We transferred all the data, all the pictures, which was done from the first time we met to the day I left, and then we deleted book number 4 off his computer totally. We made sure there is no reference anywhere. Book number 4 in totality was complete in 2012. Book number 5 the same. Was ready to be printed.
Good evening, Mr. Keshe. I'm Reno from Italy.
Yes.
We lack so much your books in Italian, really.
The books, all 3 books have been translated by Fabio.
Okay.
We are in possession of all 3. It's been translated in true, it doesn't need any correction. And in due course, it'll be printed. A lot of things will change in 2021 as I step down away from the Keshe Foundation and it's taken over by the 2 ladies. You will see a lot of changes in fulfilling, a lot of completing, a lot of things which was done and was not completed. You start seeing it.
We are working in the background to try to give to the Italian people the more we can, but with the books, it's another ball games.
As I said, the books in Spanish, book 1, 2, and 3 was done by Keshe, one of the first knowledge seekers. Book number 1, 2, and 3 are in Italian, is completely done by Fabio. This is how Fabio became part of the Keshe Foundation work. And I'm sure the way now we've seen that the books, the English books and the books in Farsi now are available in what they call as a hard copy. And the same will be done with the Chinese, the Italian, the French are completed, the Dutch is completed, the Spanish, the Portuguese we have, Bulgarian is completed, the Romanian 3 books are completed. Russians done by the scientists in Russian space technology they've done their part. The Chinese is complete. And we have 2 or 3 other languages complete, about 12 of them. Farsi, the third book, received its authorization from the government a couple of weeks ago. And in Farsi, even the, what you call the, just one second. The paper regarding the, this is the book number 3 in Farsi, completed. In Iran, you need authorization of the government to release. And 3 days ago, the paper about the corona in Iran has been ratified and approved and licensed by the Iranian government, which was a shock to us. Within 2 days, the scientific paper, which usually takes months to approve, has been approved and has been it goes under publication. We received the certification authorization, which means now can be used by universities and as a reference as a scientific, as the government has accepted as approved scientific paper.
Yes, because when people read from this book, can can form a personal images of what science is, what plasma science
This
is.
is how all the knowledge seekers who read the book became, understood more, it completed their knowledge to the next level.
Yeah,
The most beautiful thing is the creation of magnetic, origin of magnetic field, which is book number 8, and the book of the soul, which is started writing about it last summer or this summer. Then now it'll be completed. A lot of the soul teaching and the teaching, public teaching, has been gathered by Blessed Soul Sandor. We have a full compilation of the soul to his death, and others are compiling the rest of it, which will be added to the soul of the book. The book of the soul will be done after 21st of March because it has a meaning, and that's why we don't push with it. The creation of the new soul, which brings equal to all the souls in the universe, and then mankind will understand how and the ways got it. But they tell him next year we have what we call in our position physically back again all the keys. There's some 200 USB sticks with all the books and the papers and everything else, and hundreds of floppy disks and CD-ROMs and all sorts that knowledge has been compiled and be kept. There's something that knowledge seekers might know and you might not know, is that all the original papers written by me have been signed into 2 books. One is 700 and one is 500. It's altogether about 1,200 pages, notarized and deposited with the courts of Belgium, that the technology and the knowledge is secure from intellectual point of view. There is a disk within the what we call reference library, world reference library, which has kept all the original papers. And all the original papers which I've written, all been hard copied and signed by me in original copies. It's 400 papers or more. And all the books. Every page is signed and notarized by public notary in Belgium. And this is what you will gather on my passing or while I'm here. We try to bring all these papers. There's a lot of hidden knowledge which is not known, will be published.
Mr. Keshe, the Plasma Times book that was just published in Iran, uh, does it have an ISBN number?
No, it wasn't given because the original, the European version has an ISBN number. It's got an ISSN number because it's a scientific paper. On that ISSN number has been reproduced in Iran, translated.
But as a book that can be
It's not a book, it's a scientific paper published
I
in
see.
a form of a book. Because it's translated, now it's become, it's not a book, otherwise it cannot be applied. It's a scientific paper published. Now it can be applied in universities and technology application.
But that gives it an opportunity to be referenced freely, right?
Yes, we already have, you can reference the plasma time.
Well,
Because
yes,
it-
but I mean, like in the university level.
Yes, it's the same. Now in Iran, it's been used as a reference. Changes in structure of the our work with universities in coming time. Time is worked on, and so we have to see how we can build it up. We don't announce anymore anything because we've seen how, as you all been there, as we told you, the damages and destruction of the Keshe Foundation has been planned, and character assassinations, many of you have seen. It comes with a scientific organization like us because they can't accept the knowledge. And this is how it is. If you look now, the scientific paper is now becomes a point of reference for many things. You got to realize the further we go, the more problems we're going to get. The more we go, the more we develop technologies, the more we open up, the more problems from the scientific world will come to us.
Well, I want to thank you very much for we on behalf of all the people on the panel here. I mean, we can't thank you enough, but we thank you profusely. And I want to thank all the people on the panel. I know this is the North American Corona team meeting, but it's very much a North American international team meeting. And I really want to thank so many people who have come today because for many of you, it's extremely late at night. And I really respect that and I really appreciate that. And to all who heard my presentation today, thank you very much for the opportunity to present that. So I think this has been a wonderful meeting. I'm going to hand it over to you, Mark. And Mr. Keshe, thank you again. And I'll leave you to give any additional comments that you may feel are relevant. Thanks, Mark. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. It's over to you, Mark.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you, Mr. Keshe. It's always great that you're joining us and just to hear your voice, to give us a current update and share some more knowledge, which it's so obvious you are full of.